I wake up, immediately take my phone off the charger. I start scrolling. I'm on IG, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, whatever. After about 20 minutes of that, I'm like, all right, time to get high. So I either grab my pen. Sometimes it wasn't even 20 minutes. Sometimes it was right off the wake. I grab my cart, my pen, whatever. Found got that, I got Bally. I'm rolling up. Within the first hour of the day, I'm blowing down. After that, I'm like, all right, more scrolling, more scrolling. Eventually, I get up, I go to the bathroom, hop on Twitter, switch accounts, or I go to X videos, I go to Triple X. I wasn't fucking with the hub anymore because this is when the hub got ass. Only check marks. The fuck? I'm busting one out. In the first hour and a half of the day, I'd gotten high and I'd blown a load. This is how I lived my days. This is how I started my days damn near every day for the first 6 months of this year. Some days I wouldn't fap. Some days I didn't have weed. I couldn't smoke right away. But I was always escaping. I was a full-time degenerate and I was an addict. Beta House fucking rules. Y'all know about that? That's probably not good. American Pie Beta House was my first introduction to porn, basically. Now, obviously, that was a movie, but I saw titties. I saw ass. I saw people having sex. So it was basically porn. I was 10 years old when I saw that movie for the first time. My mom and her boyfriend at the time, they had this friend. I'd go over to her house. She had a son. Say his name is Charles. Charles was a cool dude, but unfortunately, he poisoned my mind. And that started with Beta House. My mom had to do something this day, so she dropped me off at Charles's place. And we watched Beta House. Mom wasn't there. And I saw ass, I saw titties, I saw sex. I was like, yo, this is a whole new world. That was the start of my second addiction. Video games was my first. That's not what this video is about. Shortly after that, I had to get more. I just saw titties. I just saw ass. I gotta get more. So I started seeking out porn. Eventually, I started fapping. For 9 years, I'd spent most of my days fapping at least once. A lot of those days, I fapped more than once. Twice, 3, 4, sometimes 5, 6, 7 times. Legitimately. Most times I fapped in a day was 7. 7 times. 4 of those were back to back to back to back. It was ridiculous. But I was completely ignorant. I didn't know I was killing myself. I didn't know I was destroying my gray matter. I didn't know I was killing my drive, killing my desire. I was a little kid. How could I know? I wasn't exposed to the dangers of this taboo subject. Back in December of last year, I wanted to make a commitment to myself that I would get off the porn, I'd get off the weed. I knew how much they were harming me. I knew how bad they were for me. And I wanted to make a change. But I still wasn't strong enough yet. Although I had some motivation, I had some reason, I still didn't have the willpower. I still didn't have the true understanding of why I was even using porn in the first place. I'd wake up, I'd get high, I'd fap, I'd binge, I'd get high, I'd binge, I'd play video games, I'd get high, I'd go overeat food, I'd come back, I binge, I play video games, I get high, I go to sleep. Repeat. That's what my days look like. That's what a large majority of my days look like for 6 months. In mid-January, I gave up on myself. I decided that shit got too rough, so I just wanted to cope. I want to just keep coping. I want to keep escaping. I want to keep running away from my problems. I don't want to face them. I don't know how to face them. So I'm not going to try. I gave up on myself. And for 6 months, I just kept running away. I was depressed as fuck. I hated myself. I hated the environment I was in. I hated that I wasn't doing the things that I wanted to do. But I wasn't aware of that. Not completely. It was just internalized. And it was the reason that I kept escaping. The reason I kept turning to weed. I kept turning to porn. I kept turning to video games. Even drinking occasionally. I kept turning to all these bad habits because I wasn't living my truth. I wasn't living my purpose. I wasn't pursuing my passions. I wasn't making YouTube videos. I wasn't trying to help people. I wasn't dancing. I wasn't drawing. I loved to do these things since I was this big. Since I was 8 years old. Since I was younger. But over time, once I hit like 10, that crucial age, I started to tell myself I wasn't good enough. I'm not good enough at these things. How can I keep doing them? So I kept pushing them away, and pushing them down further and further and further and further. And do that, I kept running. I kept running away from my problems. I kept running away from my truth. I was using video games. I was using porn. Eventually, I found weed 3 years ago. And I was on that. And then I started to drink. I would just drink. Not because drinking was cool or it was fun. Nah. I just drank so I didn't be sober. I drank so I could feel something that wasn't sadness. That wasn't the stillness of my head and the racing thoughts that came from sobriety. That came from not running away. I didn't know how to deal. So I ran. Eventually, I got out of that environment. I left school. I left New Jersey entirely. And I came here to Georgia. But the thing is, I hadn't conquered anything. I just ran away to a different place. And although I was around different people and I started educating myself with the wisdom of businessmen, of scientists like Alex Hormozy, like First Man, like Dr. K from Healthy Gamer GG rather, like Andrew Huberman. I started to educate myself. I started to understand my mind a little better, understand myself better, understand life better. But I still wasn't dealing. I still didn't understand the scope. So only after 3 weeks of not smoking weed, of no porn, I gave in. I went and got the weed. I went and got the porn. I got to a point where I was consistently stacking weed with porn with drinking. I couldn't even just watch porn regularly. I had to be high. Like, why would I even want to do this sober if I could do this high? That's called dopamine stacking. When you stack dopamine, it takes the pleasure away from the original thing. And so you can only really do this thing, you only feel motivated to do this thing when the stack is there. I couldn't even watch porn, in fact, regularly. I had to do it high. I had to. Because if I wasn't doing that, I wasn't interested. So now, I was waking up, I was getting high, and then I'd get ready, I'd go to work. I'd smoke for the first hour or so, and then I'd try to actually lock in during work. After that, I'd smoke on the way home. Then I'd come home, and I'd smoke. I'd fat, I'd eat a bunch of food, and then I'd smoke before I went to bed. That was how a lot of the days for the past 5 months have been. For the past 11 months this year, from January to November, I was straight up destroying myself. I was destroying my brain. I was destroying my ability to focus. I was completely murdering my dopamine levels. I kept getting this cheap pleasure. And just as fast as I got it, just as fast as it went away. I had a super high tolerance for weed. So I had to be smoking all the time, all day, every day. When I'd watch porn, it had to be super hardcore. Like, I'm talking super dominant, super going crazy. Like, bro, if it wasn't that, I wasn't interested. Legitimately. It was just this progression of having to have more intense. It was destroying me. Going into December of this year, I knew I had to make a change. Because I refused to start my 20s as a degenerate. I refused to start my 20s not on my purpose, not pursuing my goals. Your 20s are your most critical decade. They're the most formative. Even as men. As men, life doesn't really start until you're 30. You might be taken aback by this. This is a concept I learned from First Man. I'll link the video. Life starts for men when you're 30. You use your 20s to build your body, build your knowledge, your skills, build your career, build your business. And eventually, when you hit 30, you have something to show for it. And even then, you can build your life in your 30s. You can build your life in your 40s. That's the male advantage. Women can't really do that. Women's life starts at 18. Women peak when it comes to their attraction, their beauty. Most women peak in their early 20s. About 19 to 24. That's usually when a woman's beauty is the highest, when they're perceived as the most valuable to society. But for men, it's a different game. It's about money, it's about status, it's about the body, the fitness. You can do that when you're 30. You can do that when you're 40. Shit, some men can peak in their 50s. We've seen it. We see these super old guys, 50 years old, with the 20-year-old supermodel. We've seen it. They're like, how the fuck does that happen? It's the male advantage. That was a little tangent, though. I knew that I needed to make a change going into my 20s. I knew that I have these big-ass goals to pursue, and that if I don't start correctly, I'm not going to end how I want to end. When I'm 30, I want to have something big to show for it. I want to be taking home $1 million a month. I want to be working less than 4 hours a day. I want to have such high leverage on my time that I can do anything. My words have such big influence. My writing has such big impact. I want to write generational books. I want to teach people about how life should be lived. Because we haven't been living beautiful and purposeful lives. Depression is as high as it's ever been. Anxiety is as high as it's ever been. People have been selling their souls. Generations have been selling their souls for the corporate man. They've been stuck in the matrix, stuck in the rat race. That is bullshit. My goal is to rebuild the education system. That's a huge ass goal. And I'm going to need momentum as early as I can get it. That starts with my 20s. That starts right now. Today's my 20th birthday. December 1st was the start of my porn recovery. Now, I'm going to say this flat out. There's a reason that this video is titled 4 weeks of NoFap. That's because today I relapsed. I didn't have the will to fight these super, super strong urges that have been coming to me for the past week. But we're going to get back to that. I decided to quit. I decided to stop smoking weed. I'd already given up video games. For the first week or so, it was kind of tough. I'd have these images popping into my head that I'd seen from porn, and it would suck. But I'd use the willpower. I would distract myself. In my opinion, there's levels to this shit when it comes to controlling your sexual urges. You have level 1, which is just distracting yourself with other things, whether that be work, going outside, doing exercise. That's level 1. It's about level 1 through 9. You get to level 10, you're using willpower. You're saying, I choose me. I choose to not give in. You have this pent up energy, but you're not going to release it. You're going to harness it. Level 10 to 50 or 49, whatever. That's willpower. But there's a step above. That's where I need to get to. In the book, The Way of the Superior Man, the book every man should read, talks about how sexual energy is used for much more than just having children. Desire, the purpose of desire is creation, but reproduction is just the biological aspect of that creation. We have art, we have talent, we have expression, we have education, we have teaching, we have sharing our wisdom and our experiences with the world. We have building, crafting. There's so many things that desire, this energy in us, can be used and harnessed for. But you can't use it if you're killing it, if you're getting rid of it by fapping all the time. For the past 3 weeks, I've been feeling that energy. I've been feeling that desire. It's been building up. It's been building and building. And I just want to get after it. I wake up at 5 a.m. I'm like, yo, I can't even go back to bed. My head's already racing. What's today's YouTube video? How am I going to build my business? How am I going to help these young men with their struggles, with their problems? How can I tell my story? How can I share the things that I've learned in a way that can help these young guys through their struggles, through the struggles that I faced? That's what I want to do. I want to help you. You can use your desire. You can use the sexual energy, and you can harness it. There's a concept called sexual transmutation. Basically, everything that us as men do is based around women, based around sex. Love too, but mainly sex. Whether that be wanting to build your body so you can have more status so girls will be attracted to you. Whether that's making money so you can have more status so girls want you more. Whether that's just going to talk to girls so you can get laid. Like, at the end of the day, most of our lives, most of the reason we actually do stuff is very deeply rooted in love and sex, in this primal desire of wanting love, of wanting sex, wanting status, wanting freedom. These primal desires are why everything happens. There's the surface level desire. Oh, I want to build muscle. Oh, I want to look good. The primal desire is sex. It's status. You want men to respect you. You want women to lust over you. You want respect. You want sex. Status. You might not be admitting that to yourself. That's okay. I admitted that to myself. Once I understood that, I was like, how can I use this desire to get to that status? That is what sexual transmutation is. You turn that desire into energy to build the body, to build the business, to work on yourself. And while doing that, the women will come. Once you get to a high enough status, the women start chasing you. That's how it works. Women seek high value men. So if you're high value, you're high status, with the body, with the money, women will want you. Over the last few weeks, I've had insane drive. I've been more confident in myself. I've respected myself more. But I've also been fighting these powerful sexual urges. When I knew that I really wanted to start helping young men with addiction, mainly fapping, NoFap, and porn, but also weed, also video games. When I started to lay the foundation of my coaching business, there was something called my avatar, my dream avatar. My dream avatar is basically just younger me. It's the person I want to help, the person I'm talking to on the other side of this camera. You relate to younger me. If you're still in this video, you've connected with what I've said. You are my dream avatar. My dream avatar has a lot of problems. And a lot of those problems are rooted in not understanding yourself, not understanding your urges, not being able to control them, understanding the relationships with the women in your life, being ashamed of your dark desires for wanting to dominate a woman. Let me tell you this right now, bro. There's nothing wrong with that desire. For a long time, I was living in shame of that desire too. I thought I was a piece of trash. I thought I was a misogynist. No. We are just masculine men. Masculine men take control. They're dominant. They're present. And if you see a feminine woman, you think about wanting her to be submissive to you. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the polarity of the masculine and the feminine energies. When we start to fuck up is when we start fantasizing about this woman. When we can't control our dicks, we can't control our heads, and now we got a boner. Now we got to go fat. No. What we want to do is take this energy that's inside of us, that we feel in our balls, we feel in our head, and we want to use our breath to disperse that throughout our entire body. I'm not gonna lie, this sounds like some spiritual ass shit. It is. It's from the Way of the Superior Man. And this is a skill that I need to work on. Because if I had leveled up this skill, if I had been practicing this skill, I wouldn't have relapsed today. But let me also say this right now. It's okay if you relapse. Especially if you've made progress. I haven't fapped in 28 days, 4 weeks. And I made the conscious decision today. I'm like, all right, bro, I feel so pent up. I'm just going to do it. Here's where I fucked up though. I watched porn. If you're going to fap, just use your imagination. Don't watch porn. Because porn and fapping are two different drugs. They usually go hand in hand, but they have different effects, different ways they affect your brain. When you're a porn addict like I was, your brain looks extremely similar to that of a cocaine addict. I want you to sit with that for a second. Porn is so stimulating that your brain looks like you're on coke. And for me, I was stacking that porn with weed, sometimes with alcohol. For the past year almost, I was basically only fapping if I was high, if I was drunk. Fapping sober was ass. I'd gotten so used to the stack that doing it by itself, it wasn't pleasurable. Why would I do it? Even though I fap today, I'm proud of myself for the progress that I've made. I went 28 days without fapping. And now, I'm trying to go for at least 3 months. I'm trying to really build up this energy. And I'm trying to truly harness it, disperse it through my body. I've leveled up my willpower a lot over the past 4 weeks. I've been fighting the urges, but I gave in. I gave in today because I didn't have the technique. I wasn't able to breathe. I tried to, but after about 5 breaths, 5 deep ass breaths and long ass exhales, I still felt so pent up. That's because I should have did it about 10 more times. But I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't want to. I wanted the release. I wanted to give in. I honestly wanted to see how it would affect me. The brain fog was there immediately after I busted. Immediately. And although it wasn't as intense as it used to be, because I wasn't high, it was still there. That cloudiness was there. That want to chill and be complacent. Oh yeah, I'm good, bro. It was there. There's a reason that you react like that after you just busted. It's because biologically, when you bust, it's like your body is telling your brain, "Oh yeah, I just did what I was supposed to do. As a man, I just spread my seed and I just reproduced." Except you didn't do that because you were fucking your hand and not a woman. So because of this, because your body and your brain believe that you've done what you're supposed to do as a man, which is spread your seed and reproduce, continue the human race, you feel stuck. You feel complacent. You feel like my mission is complete. So why would I do anything else? If you're fapping every day, you're constantly in this state of not wanting to do anything, feeling like you've completed what you have to complete. And so you're not getting after it. You're not trying to make progress. You're not trying to pursue your goals. A large reason for this might be because you don't know what your goals are. You don't know what progress you want to make. You might feel like the goals you have are too big, that they're out of your reach, so you don't even want to try. You might feel like the goals you have are silly or stupid because your parents, the school system, society has brainwashed you into believing that the things you like to do are for little kids or that they can't make you money. You might not want to say fuck you to your parents, but I'm going to say fuck you to your parents for you. Fuck your parents for saying that shit to you. You can do whatever the fuck you want. If you like it, if it makes you feel good about yourself, if it makes you feel amazing inside, fucking do it, bro. Because if you're not, you're going to keep turning to these unhealthy coping mechanisms. You're going to keep fapping. You're going to keep playing video games. You're going to keep smoking weed. You're going to keep drinking. You're going to keep chasing meaningless sex. You're going to keep doing these things if you don't get on your purpose. If you don't start using this drive that you have and put it towards something that means something to you. The point of the masculine energy is to pursue purpose, to get after the mission. But if you feel like your mission is complete because you just told your body that it is, you're not going to want to do that. But if you build up this energy, you harness this desire, and you use it towards your actual mission, the things that are actually purposeful to you, the things that you feel passionate about, if you do that, you're going to keep going. You're going to keep going. And you're going to keep going harder and harder. You're only going to build more momentum. That's exactly how I felt these past 4 weeks. I felt like I was on a roll. The momentum was only building and building and building and building. I fucking love that feeling. These past 3 weeks have been the best weeks of my life. And now that I understand more about myself, I understand more about retention, I understand how porn has been killing me, I'm done watching porn. I decided that today. Before, when I said, oh yeah, I'm going to quit porn, I'm going to quit fapping, I still had in the back of my head, oh, I might watch porn again one day. You know, maybe my girl might want to watch porn someday. Fuck that shit. Porn is killing you. It was killing me for over 9 years. I'm not watching that shit ever again. You will bust a nut again in your life. So will I. Whether that's because you want to fat because you feel so pent up, whether that's because you just had sex with a beautiful woman, eventually you're going to bust again. Like, that's how life goes. But it is your choice to do that while watching porn. It is your choice to keep your brain like a coke addict. Porn is the true enemy. It's not fapping. You should build up streaks of retention. You should go on these NoFap streaks, even if it's only for 3-7 days. If you used to be a chronic fapper like me, every day, twice, 3 times a day, and you have a 3-day streak, bro, that's progress. I'm fucking proud of you, bro. You just went from fapping like 6 to 9 times in the span of 3 days to 1. That's amazing, bro. You went from fapping 7 to 14 times in a week to 1. Bro, that's fucking awesome. That is progress, brother. I'm proud of you. You got to be proud of yourself. You got to just keep pushing yourself to keep going longer, to keep harnessing this desire. I highly recommend you read The Way of the Superior Man. That book is going to teach you a lot more than I can. But I'm going to do my best to keep helping you out. I'm Jaden. You can call me JC. You can call me Jay. You can call me Dubs. I'm here for you. Offer free mental health calls. First link in the description. Let's go get the fuck after our dreams. Big YDC.